Welcome to Commander Quickies, a series where we take a specific aspect of Commander and crunch it into a 5-minute easy-to-watch video. I'm BZ with the Nitpicking Nerds, and today's topic is how Sunforger could improve your decks. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe for more Commander content. Sunforger is a deceptively powerful equipment for Boros decks. If you're not playing it, I highly recommend adding it to almost any deck, although you'll have to slightly change how the deck is built. However, I think once you do, Sunforger will prove itself as one of the solutions people have been searching for to make Boros decks more playable and competitive. Sunforger wants to find red or white instants with converted mana cost 4 or less. This means that when building your deck, you need to prioritize removal spells that fit this description. There are plenty of amazing options that offer 2-for-1s. Once you have 5 or more targets for it, it becomes a powerhouse that generates card advantage and makes you a huge threat, whether your opponents know it or not. As soon as you hold up your first activation of it, which requires only leaving up 2 mana, your opponents are going to have a hard time hurting you, and the best part is that before you turn, you can still spend the 2 mana on removal or disruption, so it's never wasted. Here are the spells that will give you the most bang for your buck in Sunforger decks. To Fairies Protection. This is possibly the best defensive spell in EDH, and it's competitively costed so it doesn't feel bad to hold up. This is your failsafe when holding up a Sunforger activation, and if something goes wrong, and you're about to die, or you're super far ahead and don't want your board wiped, just fetch out Protection and survive until the next Sunforger activation. Poros Charm. This is another cute way to protect your Sunforger and your permanents from destruction, although this is a spell you never really want to draw, and it's more valuable in your deck. It's worth noting that Sunforger does grant +4/+0, so maybe you can string together a commander damage kill with it. Settle the Wreckage. This card can be an absolute blowout, and what's better, your opponents just won't attack you if you have an equipped creature and they know you play this card. Kind of like how Mazavith never really gets activated and just deals pseudo damage to your opponents by incentivizing them to attack someone else. Swords to Plowshares. This commander staple gets even better with Sunforger. This is an easy one to fire off if you get to the end step before your turn and just want to get value. Return to Dust. Good in a pinch and instant speed, but better as a sorcery speed 2-for-1 when you can re-equip after. Crush Contraband. Probably a little better than Return to Dust, since it always works no matter when you cast it, but consider your meta when choosing because this card can't hit 2 artifacts or 2 enchantments at the same time. Master Warcraft. This card is commonly misread by players, including myself. It does force creatures to attack and block, however, you do not get to choose the player being attacked. Keep that in mind when putting this into your deck. It can be a fog, or even allow you to force your whole team past enemy defenses, so don't overlook it either. Wild Ricochet. This is a tricky effect that opponents won't be expecting from you until you blow them out of the water with it. Wild Ricochet is at its best against something like Time Stretch, but don't be afraid to get insane value by saving a permanent you control, killing another permanent instead, and then killing another permanent. Lapse of Certainty. A counterspell. In white? This isn't going to be on anyone's radar the first time you stop a huge game-winning spell. The best part is that if you counter something like Expropriate, the rest of the table is going to team up on the person whose spell you countered, and you get to be the hero. These next spells share only one color with Sunforger, so they'll be in less decks but are still extremely powerful to have in the arsenal. Anguished Unmaking. This is a solid catch-all removal spell that can get you out of some tight spots at the cost of a few life. Nothing too special, but worth mentioning. Render Silent. A simple and perfect answer to someone when they start comboing off, especially if they start investing resources for one big payoff spell and you can just ruin their day for 1 red and 1 white. Counter Flux. This is an unstoppable way to counter a spell, so you can resolve something important if you need to, or stop an important spell coming from a blue deck. Kolaghan's Command. This is a pricey card, but one worth having in most Rakdos decks. The ability to raise dead a creature and destroy an artifact is very unique on an instant. This can also kill annoying utility creatures like Oracle of Moldiah, or even make someone discard their only card on their draw step if you're feeling dirty. And the combinations of all these make for a versatile spell. Fire Covenant. This is one of the most underrated spells in all of EDH. This card is just insane. You can pay any amount of life and answer any threats you need to. This card works extremely well with cards like Blood Artist and Sangromancer too. It boils down to paying 10 to 15 life to cast an instant speed Plague Wind for every relevant creature your opponents control. Eladamri's Call. Sunforger even gives you access to tutors, and this one lets you find any creature you want. Pretty self-explanatory. Enlightened Tutor. More of the same, except this one finds artifacts and enchantments for you. It also finds Sunforger if you don't have it yet. By the way, Sunforger decks shouldn't leave home without Misfail Planes, as it allows you to reuse any instant you've already cast with it. Sunforger helps solve the problems a lot of Boros decks have. They're lacking in card draw and mana sinks, and this provides both card advantage in the form of spells you're casting for free, and something to do with your mana every single turn. Not to mention, playing extra instants allows you to hold up mana if you choose, turning what might have been an attacker's deck into a solid offensive threat with disruptive backup spells. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to tell us in the comments, and subscribe to keep up with our tune-ups and Commander Quickies. Special thanks to our patrons, plural, and if you want to become a patron, you can click on the link in the description. See you next time.